Hello and welcome to Press X as part of the Geek podcast network. My name is Mark, and today we have Andy.
Yay!
And we've got a little fun show today, haven't we?
Yes. Yes we do. But let me just get something off my chest first. Because over the last week, I've been playing Conan Exiles on the PS4, and I have a big complaint to make about that game. Because it's one of those games where, they have really big ambitions. That, it's like the developer's eyes are bigger than the belly. And they look at all of these other games of the same, that fall in the same category. And they say, all right, we're going to do that, and we're going to do that. We're going to have some territory management. We're going to have some building and crafting and all sorts. And there's going to be adventuring, and there's going to be combat, and there's going to be multiplayer and everything like that. And all of it is just crammed. It's like they got a small box and then just tried to jam loads of different ideas into the box. And, when all the ideas wouldn't fit, they just kind of got the lid. Like a overstuffed suitcase when you're going on holiday. They just sat on top of the box of ideas until everything just kind of fit, even though it was just kind of seeping out the edges.
Mm-hmm.
That's Conan Exiles, right? And the reason I say that is because it opens with a great intro, Conan walking up to some lass who's been crucified because, hey, apparently crucifixion is a thing. There was no Life of Brian type thing where it goes, crucifixion, last door on the left. Nothing like that. Just some woman crucified in the desert, then they fight some demon dog type things, and then she becomes a warrior, and then that's supposed to define how you're supposed to play. And then the game starts off, and it says, oh, you must have PS Plus to play the game. My first reaction is, why do I need PlayStation Plus to play this game? That kind of defeats the purpose of having a multiplayer on the game if you want me to have PlayStation Plus to play the game. If I was playing this on a PC or the Xbox One or anything like that, well, with the Xbox One, I don't know, but if it was on a PC on Steam, I wouldn't need Steam Plus or Steam Premium to play the game, would I? So why do I need PlayStation Plus to play the game on the PlayStation? So I said, no, I don't want to play that. So I can play single player or co-op multiplayer, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, single player takes me to the beginning bit where I get to design my character. My character, obviously, is crucified at the beginning, so naturally I made him look like that famous person, Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, only problem is, it's kind of Brad Pitt at the late PS2, early PS3 standard.
Right.
Mm.
You know what character models used to look like late PS2, early PS3?
Polygonal
yes.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, polygonal Brad Pitt. That's basically my character in Conan Exiles. And after that was a long, boring trek of doing not much except grabbing loads of bits of plant fibers from bushes, reading notes that have been left by people who died, and trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it was basically go around doing stuff. I've got to admit, it's got some great ideas. It's got some really expansive land to cover, right? There's loads of areas to explore, but it's dull.
Mm.
Very, very dull.
Yeah, we've seen these type of games before, isn't it? I mean, I've had the same issue with the most recent Assassin's Creed game, where it was massive, and it had some good ideas, but there was just not much to... there was a lot to explore, but it was just... Oh, look, here is another outpost you've got to save.
I mean, I did love the last Assassin's Creed game, but I know what you mean.
What, Odyssey?
No,
The one with Origins, yeah.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, because Oddity isn't out yet.
Oddity?
Yes, Assassin's Creed Oddity. It's where Abe becomes one of the assassins.
That'll be a mod for the PC version.
No, and now that I've mentioned it, I actually want that version of Assassin's Creed. I want the Abe's Odyssey version of Assassin's Creed. So, you just, you've got Abe in one of those hoodies on a rooftop. And before he dives off, he goes, yo, yo, yo.
So it'd work.
Yeah, because, he'd be the ultimate hitman. He could mind control people into killing each other.
He could. He could.
Yeah.
He could definitely do that.
See?
Speaking of PS1 games, I went to Nerg the other day, which was the Northeast Retro Gaming Con thing that they've got going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I spent far too much, and I've came away with a stack of PS1 games as well. And it's PS1, SNES, GameCube, and I think there was actually a PS4 game thrown in there as well. So
you bought a game for the PlayStation 4?
From a retro gaming place.
I was going to say, you Philistine.
It's amazing how far we've come, but when you also look at it, it's amazing how we haven't really advanced too much anyway. I was playing on Theme Park earlier on just to test this out, and I was sat there for about 20 minutes just playing it. I was just like, wow, this is actually just as fun as the Theme Park games that came after it, if not more so.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, do you know Theme Hospital on the PlayStation 1 is still one of the most popular games to play on the PlayStation 1.
And
it is
also getting a new one next year.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
Actually, that's this year. They've actually just given the release date for it. It's like August 20th or something like that.
Oh, right. Next month.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, and I was like, no, too many games. I've got to be good.
Yeah, tell me about it. But yeah, Theme Park was a wonderful game.
It is. I mean, this is probably the 4th or 5th time I've even bought it, because I had it originally on the PC.
Yeah.
And then I got on the DS, they re-released it on the DS, and then I got it on the Super Nintendo, and then when I was in Nerg the other day, it was like £2, and I was just like, for that, I'll just buy it. And it's just like, it's just another way to play it, because it's that fun that you can just pick it up whenever, you know what I mean?
Admit it, Mark. Your secret desire in life is to own your own theme park. It'd be called Mark World.
It would. I actually really wanted to be like a theme park manager at one point. But that was when I was just like, bits of me life just went missing to Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh, do you know what just popped in my head? Was an image of you as, what's his face, that Monopoly guy.
Or the theme park version of it, where he's wearing he's wearing a green suit and a top hat.
Yes. And
abducts children and forces them to go to his theme park.
Maybe not that part, but the rest of it is accurate, yeah.
Well, that's what he did. He just appears from the screen and in his Willy Wonka style outfit and abducts a family and makes them go on theme park rides. But yeah, I'm going to have a lot of fun playing some old school games, I think, over the next few weeks. So
yeah,
looking forward to that.
What about you, Andy?
Well, speaking of arcades in a way, but in a different sense, I've been playing Far Cry Arcade.
Far Cry Arcade?
Yeah, it comes to Far Cry 5.
Oh, that?
Yeah, and I've been getting familiar with the editor as well that comes with it. And basically, you don't have to play multiplayer maps or anything like that. They're there, but that's never been something I play. But you can play co-op, or like online, with up to, I think it's 6 people. And you can do any map that's been created by both Ubisoft and like the community. But
that's cool, that.
It gives you, in the editor, it gives you the assets. It's basically, if anybody's used an engine called Unity to play around with.
Yeah.
Basically like that. So it's got a program. And the assets are from Ubisoft games. It's literally from all the Far Cry's. And you've got assets from Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, Origins, Watch Dogs. And you can just make stuff with any of those assets. And it's really good. And it's hard to get used to, but I've been playing a few maps. And some of them are brilliantly made, some of them aren't. But you can't. The major fun is playing with the editor, and I've been doing that quite a bit. Spend a few hours trying to position a house so it can, because if it's on an uneven surface, it's trying to get it flat is an absolute nightmare.
Which reminds me of Conan Exiles now.
Yeah, Far Cry Arcade. It's really fun.
Okay, cool.
That's good.
But you did remind me of Conan Exiles, so I hate you kind of now. No, it's been a long time since I played a game that has been that dull, where I've actually been so bored playing the game that I've actually been falling asleep playing the game.
Yeah,
It's never a good thing.
it's never a good thing. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat because I got, for the Nintendo Switch, I got Touhou Kobuto V, Burst Battle.
Oh, that, yeah.
And
Do you pronounce it Touhou? I pronounce it Touhou.
it might be Touhou, I don't know. I know it's like an anime game, and I know it's got a huge following, and I was just like, this following's got to be there for a reason. And I looked at the description, and it was like, it's a bullet hell, and I was like, mint, I really enjoy bullet hells.
Yeah, it's not a very good one.
Yeah, I got it. It was like a PS1 style, 1 versus 1, very slow combat, and I was just like, I played it for about 10 minutes, and I was just like, I don't think I'm going to get anything more out of this. It's like,
Yeah.
and you know it's bad when you're 10 minutes into a game, and you know that you're not going to enjoy it. But I'll give it another chance. I'll see if I can do something with it, even if we do like a quick video on it or something. But yeah, it didn't give a good impression in the first 10 minutes when I played it. Which is a shame, because I really wanted to see what all the fuss was about.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to finish Conan Exiles, I'll be honest. It'll be one of the many games that I haven't.
Yeah.
You can always move to Far Cry Arcade.
Move to anything else.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's interesting because I have like a massive games collection, and a lot of the games I will probably never play, and of the ones that I have actually started, a good portion of them I probably won't ever finish. Do you guys have anything similar to that? Are you guys like that?
I have kind of a worse issue, but I buy games and then never play them.
I'm kind of in the mix, because at one point I was like a proper collector. I was a person who at one point owned an entire Wii U collection, and I can tell you what, playing every single one of them was more of a hindrance than anything else. But I've been a bit more sane with my purchases now. All of the stuff I buy now I do intend to play, but there's many games where I've bought them, I've played them once, and I've never touched them again. And for some of them, it's not even that bad. I've got Catherine, which was a really good game.
Did you finish it?
No, I sunk about 6 or 7 hours into it, really enjoyed it, never played it again.
Yeah.
Pandora's Tower, I got that for a birthday, sank best part of a day into it, never touched it again.
It's a cracking RPG, though.
It's really good. And that's the problem. It's like, I feel worse for the games that are really good, that I start and don't go back to, than the games that are bad or mediocre, because let's face it, if it's a bad game, you don't want to play any more of it.
Do you know the weird thing? I've noticed this from my history of playing games, but when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to play a game and finish it. But then again, the games were nowhere near as long as they are now. But during the 80s, when you had games on the Commodore 64 and the Spectrum, and then from there to the Atari ST, the Amiga, the PC, that sort of thing, yeah? And also the early days of the Nintendo and Sega consoles, what I found was that I was more likely to finish a game during that period of my life than later on. And I always thought that was because I had more time as a kid to sit there and sink hours and hours and hours into these games. But that isn't actually the case, is it?
It's not. And the thing I tend to find is when you were younger, kind of did have some, like, for some people, the will have had a lot more time to play games. But you also had that discussion point. You would sit there and you would blast out a game, and then you would talk about it at school, and you'd be like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this. But now it's like, oh, well, I beat Persona 5 the other day, and then you get a little bit of conversation, and it's like, and now I'll just go on to something else. Whereas when you're younger, you might not necessarily have something else to go straight onto.
Yeah.
You would play a game, then you might just go back and play it again, and again, and then again, and again.
Yeah, that's why you also get, you think the games now aren't that good because you don't play them over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I've got more vivid memories of playing something like Super Mario World or A Link to the Past because I would play them over and over again.
Yeah.
And while I enjoy games like Valkyria Chronicles or Xenoblade Chronicles more than them games, or just as much, I've got very little intention to sit back and go back through them immediately.
Yeah, I've noticed that about games that I've been playing as well. Even up to the PlayStation 1 era, I played Crash Bandicoot and the original Spyro to death. You know, I played those like crazy. I finished the games repeatedly, and other games like that. I played Theme Hospital so many times because it was such a fun game to play.
Yeah.
But now, even with games like that, now I would be, number one, I'd be hard pushed to actually get to the finish of them because I'd probably get bored around halfway through, or I just wouldn't have the time. And number two, there's no real motivation for me to play the game again. I know they have these things called New Game Plus, but I'm simply not interested in New Game Plus.
Exactly. I mean, I don't mind a New Game Plus where it's something like Nier Automata or Nier, where you genuinely did get more from the story.
Yeah.
When it's a New Game Plus and it's like it's the exact same story, except the enemies are like 10 levels higher and you've got to get all of these ultimate weapons and stuff like that, and it's literally just a checklist. No, I don't bother. It's like it's just, like you said, it's just one of those things. It's like you just don't bother. I think the problem is as well is like games are so cheap now.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was younger, Mario 64 and Turok costing 60 to 70 quid.
Yeah.
And you would get your worth out of them because you knew you probably weren't going to be able to buy Mario 64 and you weren't going to be able to buy Turok or Pilot Wings the next week or the week after. But now I can walk into, like you said, I walked into Nerg, I've spent 20 quid and I came out with about 6 PS1 games. And it's like, I even said to me mate, it's like, I don't mind spending 20 quid, even if I get like an hour's enjoyment out of each of them.
Yeah.
Because they were dirt cheap, you know what I mean? And I think the fact that you can buy games so cheap devalues them a little bit more.
Yeah. Take something like Final Fantasy VII, for example.
Yes.
How many people played that game over and over again?
A lot.
Probably everybody that bought it.
Everybody but me.
I bought it and I played it once and it was just like, not for me.
Although it was Final Fantasy 9 and 10 for me, the ones that I played over and over.
I was going to say it was 8 and 9 for me, the ones that I played over and over. 7, it was that bloody materia thing. That whole system really annoyed the crap out of me. That's why I didn't play it over and over. Now, I know some people say, oh, it's a great system. I'm going, no, it wasn't.
That's called nostalgia.
Yes. Don't wear those lenses. They're not very good. You won't be able to drive in them.
So the thing I always love is that when people say, what's the best Final Fantasy? And people say, oh, it's this, it's that, it's that. But you tend to find the best Final Fantasy for most people is the first Final Fantasy game they played.
In my case, again, not the case because at least I can look at things slightly objectively. Best Final Fantasy in terms of the story, maybe not in terms of the graphics, but in terms of the story, was either 4 or 6.
Yeah, them two are probably my favourite in the main games, but... Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I remember playing Final Fantasy, I think it was 6 and 7 were my first two.
Yeah.
And I didn't finish them. Played them a bit, but 9 and 10 were the two which I really played. So they stand out a lot more for me. 7 I thought was just too, what's the word? Broad. It was too crowded for a game.
They have hooves for hands. Hooves.
Blocko, man.
There were loads of people who played 7 over and over again. Hundreds and hundreds of hours into those games, right? But since the days of the PlayStation 1, or since the PlayStation 2, I should say, I have not seen that happen again. I have sunk hundreds of hours into Shenmue. I've played both Shenmue 1 and 2 so many times. It's actually... Let's put it this way. I've owned a Dreamcast 3 times, and all 3 times I owned Shenmue 1 and 2, and all 3 times I completed Shenmue 1 and 2, right? Mm-hmm. So I've sunk hundreds of hours into Shenmue 1 and 2. And every single time I enjoyed playing Shenmue. Every single time I played Final Fantasy VII, I enjoyed playing it. Sorry, Final Fantasy VIII, I enjoyed playing it. There are very few games that I get that feeling from these days.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of mixed because I've bought Okami so many times now.
Yeah.
I think I got it on the PS2 when it first came out. I got it on the Wii.
Yeah.
I got it on the PS3.
Yeah.
And I got it on the PS4, and I most likely will buy it on the Switch. And I've played it through every time it came out, and I will enjoy it every single time. It's stuff like that, or a Zelda, or even a lot of the Mario games. I will sit and I'll go through them time and time again. Usually, if they re-release them, and see, well, I used Valkyria Chronicles as an example before. It's like I got that on the PS3, I got it on the PS4, and probably I will buy it again on the Switch. But the difference is I'm buying them again because they feel new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You buy a game again, it feels new. But if you go back to it, it's already on your shelf. You've already beat it. It's like, well, I've beaten that. I've beaten Digimon World. I don't need to play that again. I'll just be on Jade Cocoon instead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
do you know the last game I played where I actually sat down and played the game through without playing any other games in between and actually finished the game? The last game that I did that with was Project Zero 2, Crimson Butterfly, on the PlayStation 2. And that was when the game came out. That was the last time I actually played a game from start to finish without playing any other games in between, you know, without kind of taking a break and playing this other any other game, just playing that one game all the way through to the finish. That was the last time I did that.
I think my most recent ones are the Far Cry games.
Yeah.
And Uncharted, the Uncharted trilogy. I just, when I had a few days off, I just played all three of them.
See, even with games like Uncharted or Far Cry or Tomb Raider or the like, I will play them, but they will be just the main game I'm playing. They won't be the only game I'm playing.
Yeah. See, my issue is that because of stuff, I tend to set time aside for each one. So I will play up until 8 o'clock on a night on the PlayStation or on a home console. Then on a night, I'll sit and lie in bed with my 3DS or Vita or Switch.
Yeah.
But like, I can't remember the last time I sat and literally start to finish and didn't play anything else on a night.
That's my point. It's such a rarity now to actually do that, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing with that spoiled for choice. We can actually manage to handle 2 games at once.
But do you think, like, the same as me, do you differentiate between different types of games? For example, you've got your heavy story build games that you put hours into, but you've also got your games where you just sit and play, you know, like, could be your sports games or...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean...
See, it's like music. Games for me are kind of like music now, right? You have music for different occasions, don't you?
Yeah.
And then by the same token, you have games for different occasions. I've seen this, and this is an actual thing, and I have seen this myself. You know, wedding receptions?
Yeah.
Right? I have seen, and this, I don't know why it's becoming more and more popular, but I understand why, but it's there. There are more and more couples who are having, you know, a video game area at their wedding reception. Now, originally they thought it was going to be for kids, right? But more and more adults are taking over, and they've got just simple games like FIFA or wrestling or something like that, where the adults can just sit there and challenge each other and have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when I was at NERC the other day, there was so many people who weren't gamers who were there. I mean, there was one bloke talking to me because he picked up Pokemon Snap, and he was like, "Oh, this is the best game from my childhood. I haven't seen this game in years." And I was just like, "Oh," it was like, I don't even know if I've got my N64 or not." And the bloke was obviously trying to upsell him, trying to sell him the whole lot. And it was just nice to see people who just literally just came in, heard about this event, came in, and then this bloke just walked out with an N64, Pokemon Snap, a Mario game, and Zelda. And it's like,
can I just say, if Pokemon Snap was the best game from your childhood, then you are a very poor soul.
To be honest, Pokemon Snap, it's one of those games where there wasn't much to it, but it was fun to play.
There wasn't
No,
much to it. There wasn't anything. You could complete it in 5 minutes.
It's still a fun game, so like you said, it's all that nostalgia.
That was not fun to play. I played Pokemon Snap. It wasn't fun.
It's like you said, it all comes down to nostalgia, because I've been playing Crash Bandicoot, the first one, on the Switch. It's literally a port of the first one, and I was just sat there, it's like, how the hell did anybody play this game? It's absolutely awful. And then I just played on the second one. Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, well, the thing is, though, that's not my nostalgia. I've got literally no nostalgia towards Crash Bandicoot because I didn't play it when I was a kid. And now I'm looking at it without the rose-tinted glasses being, this isn't really as good as people were making it out to be.
You realise that it doesn't matter how much you played it as a kid, it's still really hard, that first game.
Yeah.
It is very difficult.
It is very, very difficult. But the thing is, that I think was one of the reasons why we enjoyed finishing the games when we were kids, because they were a lot more challenging. Now, up in the difficulty level, making the enemy AI or making them tougher, have more hit points, hit harder, whatever, that's all well and good, but it's still not the same as the actual challenge that we had then. Exactly. I remember back on the SNES and back on the Mega Drive. Do you remember some of the games we had then where you basically started the level, especially like the Disney games, right? You start the level, you get partway through the level, you die, so you have to start the level again.
Exactly. And you get 4 lives or something, so by the time you're getting halfway through the game, you die and you've got to start the entire game all over again.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That, for us, was a challenge because it was literally, you got to get good at this.
Exactly.
You know, there's no other choice.
Remembering passwords.
I'll start remembering passwords if you could. But the passwords, again, just how long were they?
Oh, yeah. Even these days, the password isn't much of an issue because you can actually just take a picture of it on your phone.
Yeah.
Now, back then, you had to find something to write it down, put it in. It was long, so it took about half an hour. And then you would get a little bit further, then had to write down a new one.
Yep.
But the other thing as well is there's another factor as well, is that games back then, you didn't have the internet. If you were absolutely stuck on a game, you either had to keep playing it until you figured it out.
Yeah.
Buy a player's guide or read one.
Or a magazine where they give you handy, helpful tips.
A magazine, or you had to ring one of those tips hotline or whatever you call them.
£2 an hour, £2 a minute or something like that.
Yeah.
How many parents literally crucified their children for calling those tips hotlines? Can you imagine if you're a parent, though, and your kid, during that period, and your kid's calling a tips hotline, is like, Timmy, you on the phone? No, Dad. You better be on the phone to one of those sex lines. I don't want you calling that video game tips hotline.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rob, right? Do you know, if you ever rang a cheats thing, right, they go, the password for this level is, and it'll go like, as fast as anything, it'll be like F2E. Like,
I take it you're speaking from experience. Are you speaking from experience here, Andy?
I only did that once.
You only rang these hotline once, did you? just the ones.
It's weird when you look back at it. Like when I was younger, because the internet wasn't really a thing, I used to buy a lot of guides and stuff like that.
I used to buy video game magazines all of the time.
Yeah, because that was the only way you could even find out about new games, and now.
Do you know, that was the best thing about buying the computer magazines? Buying these video game magazines, because I bought them from back in the early days of the Spectrum as well. And one of the best things about them were the demo cassettes and the demo discs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was just one of the best things about them, because it really got you excited for the game, the fact that you could play a little bit of the game.
Exactly. I mean, this is another one. This is another title I picked up at NERG.
Yeah.
Was Baldur's Gate for the GameCube.
Oh.
And the only reason I remembered that was because me and my brother used to play the demo for that on the PS2.
Yeah.
For days on end. Because I think the demo disc had Baldur's Gate, a FIFA, which I want to say 2000 or 2001, Dark Cloud, and Dynasty Warriors 2. And it was like, I was just so weird. I just picked it up the other day and I was like, I haven't played this game since that demo back then. And it's weird how things stick in your mind because I have a lot of nostalgia for the games that were on demo discs.
Yeah, I'm the same. From the early days of my gaming history, back on the Spectrum and the Commodore 64, when we had games like Manic Miner and Chuck Rock and stuff like that, I've got a lot of nostalgia for those games. But also going up to things like the Commodore Amiga, when we had like New Zealand Story and that wonderful, wonderful original cheat code, because they changed it because they got into trouble.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one.
For the first cheat code for New Zealand Story, they got into trouble for that.
Yeah, well, it was something like, it was like just swearing, wasn't it, or something like that?
It was, and this is going to get bleeped, so, don't worry. It was...
So, now, I'm just trying to round things up a little bit. So now I'm kind of at the point where if I buy a game, I fully intend to play it in the next 6 months. If I pick up a game and I'm like, I'm not going to play this. I don't know when I'm going to play it. I'm not buying them.
Yeah.
But as everything else, good intentions mean one thing. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I got Ni no Kuni 2 for my birthday. That was coming up to 4 months ago, and I still haven't even unboxed it yet.
Well, good luck with that. I'd say a 10. Because, I mean, I've got 253 Steam games, and I've played about 30 of them. And that's just a PC. That's just Steam, actually.
Steam gives you too many sales and stuff like Humble Bundles. Are just wreck you because you get so many games that you don't really want or you're not really that bothered about, but they're so cheap.
It's like Crash Bandicoot now with something like 17 quid on PC.
Crash Bandicoot for the first Crash Bandicoot was at NERG. It was 30 quid.
Yeah.
And I bought it about 3 years ago for 10 quid. And I was just like, why is this going up when you can just buy the PlayStation or the Xbox version of it?
Because people are nostalgia freaks. And I've said it before, everybody collects something. These days, video games are becoming the norm for people to collect.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, I mean, think about it from this perspective. Video games are the big thing at the moment. They're the big thing for everyone to be into. Yeah?
Exactly.
And you basically show off just how much of a gamer you are by how old and how cool your collection is, how many of these specific titles you have in your collection. Because then you can kind of lord it over everybody else. And I don't understand the mentality. But then again, I own most of those games already before it became cool.
I don't understand the lording above everybody else, because it's like, I've got a lot of games, but I don't sit there going, well, my game collection is more better than yours. But it's kind of like, but people do come to us now, it's like, when I was at NERD, people were just like, picked up a game and say, Mark, is that any good? And I'm just like, I don't know. I was like, well, you've played most games. I was like, well, I haven't played everything.
Yeah, see,
it's probably to the shelf somewhere.
I just want to interject there, Mark. Having done exactly what you said you don't do, right? Because I have actually lauded my game collection over people. The thing is, I did it on purpose. I did it. I'm not proud of it, but I can only take it so far. I can't stand it when people basically start berating other people for not having a big games collection. And so I feel the need to just point out that my games collection is much larger than their poxy little games collection.
Are you counting digital games collections?
No, this is all physical. It's all physical, mate. My collection is bigger than yours. It's all physical.
You can't brag over a digital collection. It doesn't work that way.
No, you can't. A virtual collection just isn't a collection, mate.
It's got to be.
A lot of these games I've got for free because Humble Bundle go, this is free this month, so you got to buy it. I mean, I've got games in my collection, for example, Cook Serve Delicious 2, Dino D-Day, Dungeon of the Endless.
You know what it is? Stuff like that. It's like the stupid stuff like that I would actually sit and play.
Yes.
I mean, Desert Bus VR, it's basically It's literally an 8-hour virtual reality bus journey.
It's longer than that. It just doesn't end.
All right. To round this off, the game that I have sank the most hours into recently, or over the last 2 to 3 years, I have sank the most hours into this one game. I'll give you 3 guesses what that game is. Or what type of game it is.
Is it a Monster Hunter?
Nope.
It's a JRPG.
Nope.
Is it MMO?
Nope. Well, I suppose there is a multiplayer aspect to it. Do you know what it is? It's a little game, it's an app game on the iPhone called Triple Town. And all it is a simple match 3 game where you basically build a town and try and stop the bears. And I've
those app games really get you.
Yeah, I've spent more time playing that game just on and off over the last 2 to 3 years than I have any other game.
Well, I think we need to come to some kind of agreement here. I think because we've discussed for the last half hour of all these games we've got, I think by the next time we record this, we need to play at least one of them games.
I thought we were going to say all of them. I'm going to say when are we recording? 2076.
No, we need to play it. We don't have to complete it.
You do realise if we're...
say that we've sat in for an hour and played a game that we've never even switched on before.
All right, okay. I am happy to do that. But if our next recording is 2076, you do realise I'm going to have to hope for the singularity to happen before then so I can upload my brain into the internet, which isn't a good thing for the internet.
Like 2076, the game you're playing probably doesn't even work on TVs anymore.
What are TVs in 2076?
You do you know what's going to happen? You know the singularity when people can upload their brains onto the internet. All you're going to get is a bunch of old people going, "What is all this? I don't remember any of this stuff." The internet is going to go geriatric.
So yeah, pick your poison, and we'll discuss whatever we'll play in 2 weeks' time.
All right. Are we announcing what we're going to play here today, or are we going to just?
If you think that you're going to play it, I'm gonna put a spin as well. It can't be a game that you've bought in the last 2 months as well.
Can't be a game that you bought in the last. I'd go further. I'd say in the last year.
Oh God!
Oh, it can't have been released in the last year.
Well, I'd say it can't be one that you've bought in the last year that was released in the last year. Let's be comprehensive, yeah?
Yeah.
It could be anyone, really.
So you can't have bought it in the last year, and it can't have been released in the last year.
All right.
Which opens things up a bit.
I'll have quite a lot on my Steam.
I have quite a lot in my physical collection.
I'm sitting there. I'm looking at a lot right now.
Yeah, I'm just, as we're speaking, I'm just going through my Steam list, and I'm like, I don't remember ever getting that one. I mean, I've got a game called Hell Yeah, and a Fistful of Blood.
Is this Hell Yeah like Steam's version of the U2 album?
I don't know. Probably.
It just suddenly appears.
Oh.
Okay, I honestly have far too many games. I can't actually think of a game off the top of my head.
I'm looking at stuff and I'm just like...
Actually, I do have options. Just to round this off, we'll surprise people next time, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to round this off, I have never owned a PlayStation Portable. I've played on a PlayStation Portable, but I've never owned one. But I have a lot of games for the PlayStation Portable, and finally, over the weekend, I went out and bought myself a PlayStation Portable. So I have, like, an entire collection of PlayStation Portable games that I can basically play now. So, chances are it'll be a PSP game for me.
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of PS1 games which I've bought and not so much. Actually, I've got one right in my hand, right here. I bought this a few years ago and I've never even opened it.
What is it?
So as long as it works, well, it's on the floor now, but as long as it works, I will play Guardians Crusade.
Ooh. I've got to pick something from the PSP, but all my collection is like in the other room, and I'll figure something out. But yeah.
Till next time
on Press X, I have been Rob.
I've been Andy.
And I've been Mark.
Let us know what games that you haven't finished in the comments below, and we'll see you all later.
Bye!